Alright guys, welcome back to T90 Titan League 2, and we've got Kingston representing Combi Clan over here in the red trunks on Tartars. He's up against Hera on the Chinese in the blue trunks. So what is this map? What are we on? It's a Kilimanjaro game, eh? So 4 relics in the middle between our players. Bit of an incline here. So our player's going to want to fight for the hill because I think there is actually an incline bonus in AoE 2. So players both looking to rally some of these huntables back towards the town centre using their scouts. You know, it's funny, I was playing World of Warcraft the other day, and one of the daily quests is pretty much having to do this. There's like this little fucking pig thing that you gotta rally back to its herd because it's gotten lost. It's pretty much the same thing as a scout, scatter triggering. People even do it a bit on AoE 4. But don't really bother doing it on AoE, or it doesn't really work on there. And in AoE 3 you actually just manipulate sort of shooting one to make the whole herd scatter in a particular direction. So it sort of varies from game to game a little bit. But yeah, with AoE 4, you sort of do the same if you can on some maps. Mainly on the maps where the hunt spawns particularly close. But you don't really have to muck around so much with all the garrison mechanics and stuff. With trying to kill an aggressive one so much. Taking boar's a bit of a different story. Well, elephants in, say, this case. You know, in AoE 4 you've really got to often head out with 8 villages and kill it on the spot. Put a tower at that spot. Particularly if you're Rus, because, you know, you'll be able to garrison all 8. And put your mill building out over there as well. I don't know if Kingston's actually played in the AoE 4. I know Hera has, obviously. He's decided, oh, no, I don't want to have it at the mill, I'll just have it over here. Can always bring this one back to the mill anyway.
Salam.
For these guys. Hera's actually pretty get away with a bit of fishing here. That'd be quite nice for him. Kingston, I guess, could have always done the same, but oh, they've both got the 2 skills. It's not as though Hera'd have any more fish. So Kingston going for the berries instead. Bearing in mind, Kingston does benefit a little bit more from the herdables than Hera will, so maybe it's a bit of forward planning here by Hera to get on the shoreline fish. Hera actually has those extra villages at the start, but it does actually cost him 250 resources, so it largely offsets that. So techs are cheaper and farms have slightly more food than the Chinese. Just a nice generalist civ with slightly stronger archers. I guess the downside is sort of don't really have any crazy strong units other than, you know, potentially being able to make use of the Juko-Nu. And what, Scorpions get a bonus? Yeah, Scorpions get a hefty boost to their damage. palisade wall there, just in case, by KingstoNe. And Hera just looking to scout for the moment. So KingstoNe's getting militia. Actually already got 3 of them out at the moment. We're going to be looking at putting some early pressure on Hera here, but Hera can always just use the scout for the moment to try and waste a bit of time. Prevent these guys from heading across without just taking some free damage or having to stop and constantly rally to try and attack the scout. So it's a bit suspenseful here. Had to see some early aggression. Because I mean, both players be at the feudal age, but the beauty of this is, ooh, like I said, Hera, smart of him to bring the scout because he can just harass for a bit of damage like that. Stop the militia from coming across with all the health in the world to tank a town center shot or two while they finish off a villager. We'll try and dive the archer because Hera's having to commit to early archer there. Doesn't necessarily want to field just spearmen and his scout against these militia. Scout's actually going to be the best unit out here against the archer with the extra mobility. And he's going to hit quite hard against the archer for full 5 damage. Same time Hera with that spearman is going to be able to try and ward off the scout cav, but man-at-arms upgrade kicking in, so these guys get a bit tankier. Skirmisher added in to try and deflect some of this pressure and preempt the archer follow-up here from KingstoNe as well. So the South American player putting a bit of pressure on the North American player at the moment. But so far he's not really gotten any kill value out of it just yet. So first blood does go to Hera, but he loses his scout pretty much straight after, but it's a bit sloppy there by KingstoNe dropping his own scout to the spearman. There'll be some frantic clicking by our players to save their units here. But the archers there for KingstoNe going down. Man-at-arms going to get picked off there ultimately. So KingstoNe's committing to more range behind this. Well, Hera also the same, or anti-ranged I should say. I think it's going to settle down here for the moment. Quite like this. Neither player's particularly well ward off. Hera's going to have to try and expand onto another wood line here in a second. Nice little hit squad of range units there, and KingstoNe's a little bit split up here, so he's going to have to back off and try and compile his units until he's got a fairly even unit count here. The Hera's defended this really well so far, I think. I do think that was a bit of a sloppy engagement earlier on there by KingstoNe. It might come back to haunt him. All that walled off by Hera. KingstoNe's going to have to look at either bringing the man-at-arms back very slowly or trying to cut through. It looks like Hera's been able to snipe another unit there. Let's try and go man at arms down, because if you can pick him off and it's just range v range, then it becomes a lot easier for him to defend, especially now that he's got the watchtower up. KingstoNe's got a good number of archers. We're going to hit harder against the villagers and against the infantry, so he's going to be very careful with his villagers here. So age ups, Harris isn't far off. KingstoNe's still in feudal. He's sort of doubling down. He wants to get a bit of damage out of this first before he ages up. I mean, he's going to have to get a bit more food, a bit more gold to actually age up at this point. A few idlers as well, which he needs to get these guys working. At the moment he's more worried about the fight, but this is really letting him down at the moment. I mean, he needs to gather food from somewhere. And he could... yeah, I've already had a little more wood or gold out of that too, either. So Hera, look at the second town centre. I think he's going to be able to start surging ahead here. So he hasn't really had the idle eco that KingstoNe has, and he's gone for the more tech and greedy orange build. Squeezed out that first knight, which is going to be great against this all-ranged army. So KingstoNe have to try and focus down skirmishes, or commit to focusing down a single knight at a time here. He's going to lose most of these skirmishes. So I think it's been a bit of a misjudgment by him to stick with so many anti-ranged here. Because knights are anti-ranged as well, and unlike skirmishes, they're not ranged. So here we're going to be able to clean that up. And KingstoNe have to try and get his age up off here without a hitch. He's down a little bit in terms of resources. And in terms of his villager count now, army size is still a little bit larger, but again, it's mostly piddly age 2 ranged units with knights on the field, so it's going to be quite rough for him. This little scouting pocket gets picked off. With any luck though, he might be able to pick off a monk heading onto this relic, but KingstoNe's really going to have to be careful here, because Hera's now the one that's going to be applying all the pressure. A bit of range to the back here. Ooh, but now these crossbows, their upgrade kicking in with KingstoNe going to castle. These guys a little bit better than archers and a lot better than skirmishers against knights. So Hera's going to have to be careful with engaging with this knight to bring him back. Crossbowman is going to fall there, but KingstoNe's going to have enough to clean all that up. Hera, Mangonel on the way, and he is up 16 villagers at the moment, so KingstoNe's going to have to try and cram out a second town centre, and maybe even a third, to try and correct the eco diff at the moment. This Hera does have a slight kill advantage over his opponent as well, but that Mangonel so far has not really been able to get Hera any defensive value. Now KingstoNe going for a forward workshop of his own. I think he's a bit off having the stone to go for a forward castle follow-up, but he's probably going to also want to put some stone towards, again, second town centre, unless he's able to really seal the deal here. So Hera up to 3 town centres, forced to garrison though. And Viscount's really favouring Hera at 71 to 46. So Hera's started getting monks quite useful because I think they do actually outrange the crossbows. They plus the mangonels will be quite a difficult army for KingstoNe to actually engage into here. Even with all this map control. The villager getting picked off there by KingstoNe. Every little bit counts, but at the same time he's already down 32 villagers, so Hera's boom build here is really starting to pay off. I think KingstoNe's actually still got quite a lot of his eco idle at the moment too, which isn't great. This level of play. They're actually deleting a structure to get access to the stone mine there because he's being zoned off this one here. He should be right to just garrison micro through this though, for a little while at least. Ooh, but he actually, I'm not paying attention there for a second, drops 2 villagers, but at the same time, again he's up by over 30 villagers, so he can sort of afford to every now and then.
Yes.
So as long as he, there must have been a pause there, which we didn't see. So that mangonel must have been taken out as well. Oh, there's 3 mangonels up here for him. KingstoNe's own mangonel trying to do the damage, but he taps out. I think he realizes economically he's starting to really fall a bit far behind here. Don't know why he's tapped out though, because I mean he's still really just got to get the stone for town centers and then try and get to imp if he can. It's not as though Hera's at imp either, you know. But I mean that's their game 3 and Hera takes that series.